Hey again, people. I was gonna do this outside, but it's freaking windy and cold out there, so I just came in. It's still even cold in the house. I already cleaned out my fireplace, so I don't want to light a fire. But it's like 34 this morning. So I wanted to show a couple batons that I kind of cleaned up. You guys might remember, and I'm going to go over some moves with a baton, since you can't, some of my viewers in Australia, etc., they can't have any type of weapon, so maybe we can go over a few defensive. And I think I did a baton a while ago, but I don't remember what channel it was on, whether YouTube deleted it, whether my tone was bad, whether I used the wrong color of baton, I don't know. This was if you remember, I did a video on this, if you're watching. This was a broomstick or something, I think. And it broke or something. And so I just sanded it down, put a couple coats of poly on it, and made it into a nice, I want to say 36-inch baton, because that's what they used to do. I'm not sure how long this is. I don't have a measuring tape in here. Oh yeah, I do. I want to say 36-inch, but maybe it's longer. Let's see how long this sucker is. 38 inches. So, they usually have what most cops carry on their side, 26-inch little baton. That's what I used to carry. This one was a black baton that I used to carry, but the black paint looked crappy. Ended up sanding it off. You can still tell I didn't sand it real good on the ends, because it was all black. And then I just sanded it down and put some tung oil on it. And it came out really nice. It feels really good. Now, you don't need this little thing here called a grommet. This stops it from falling through. But if you're working with a baton, it kind of gives you a little bit of a handle, but it's not necessary. It's usually to hold the baton is what that is. A lot of people think it's a handle. It does make it to where if you pull it, it kind of stops your hand from sliding off, gives you a little better grip. But again, you don't need it. And I think I have one over here that does not have it. This one does not have it. I could put it on there if I wanted it. Again, another baton. I don't know if this one was black too, that I ended up signing. Yeah, it probably was, because I didn't get the ends. And just sanded it down. Again, some tung oil. Came out really nice. This one's a little bit longer than this one. There's no real standard size to batons. Normally what cops carry is a 26. This they used to issue in the military. This was called our Riot Baton. Civilians used them for a while. They had little grooves cut in them here for your hand grip to place them. And when you're doing your pushing, push, I think they still teach that riot control stuff. This is more what you call your Riot Baton. Now, this little handle here, this is good so you don't drop it, but it's also good that if a couple people grab it, you can't get your hand out, and now they have you. So, pros and cons about having something on here where you can get your hand in and out of. If I'm in a situation, I'm not sure I want them being able to throw me around with my hand caught. And again, 36-inch. I'm pretty sure this is a 36-inch, and that's what they used to be for the Riot Baton. So these are what I call my short to medium length batons. And again, I used to instruct, so I always had a lot of batons to hand out to students. This one I sanded down. Again, all three of these just have tung oil on them. I didn't. I might have put water locks on this one. I can't remember. Hell, I might have put water locks on the other. I don't remember, but I sanded them down. This is another little longer than a 36-inch, and it doesn't have the handles. And again, the difference between long and short batons is a lot of times it's leverage and reach. I mean, this is going to generate a lot more power than a shorter baton here. So here, with a short baton, my strikes are going to be more defensive and get them off me. This one, I can reach out a little bit farther, keep you away, and get a lot more swinging and torquing action. 36 inch versus 26 inch. These are, you can buy these online. See how long these are. 4 feet long. And this is just a longer baton. Call them a bamboo training. They're just bamboo. And like I said, you can order them online. They still hurt. This one's a lot heavier than this one. You can tell when I'm moving this one's a lot lighter. I can move it quicker. This one's a little bit heavier and it gives me more torque. So using a heavier baton, working out and spinning and doing all the strikes is going to develop more strength because it's heavier. Me swinging a heavier baton like this is going to develop more strength than swinging a little bitty light paperweight one like this. I can do this faster. I can get the quicker, what I hit, my little fan. So I can get the quicker movement because it's lighter, but again, mass and velocity. I'm not going to get, when I hit somebody with this, it's still going to hurt, but it's not going to be like that heavy one that'll probably break a bone. So, and again, I think I put a couple coats of poly on these because they were just straight bamboo. I sanded them down and they looked a lot rougher. I might have put some tung oil on it, and then I put a couple coats of poly on it when I was polying my horse stand. So all the techniques I'm going to show, and this one looks like a baton and is heavy, and I can hit you like a baton, but it's actually a bread cutter. If you need in the kitchen to cut some bread, sometimes you don't have anything to cut the bread with, this works really nice. And one's a little bit longer, so it will go in first, and then the other one will go in afterwards. And it looks like a stick. And I can pretty much use it like a baton, but it's going to come apart if I start doing too much. So if this would be used as any type of defensive, it would be a jab, a block, maybe a short strike, maybe an upward or under, lower, upward rollover, downward rollover strike, maybe a power chop strike to where I just come up here, kick you off, and then come straight down and drive it through. So I could do this. This is pretty heavy though. This isn't swinging around a lot because this is really torquing my wrist right now because it's heavy. And I think I picked this up in a pawn shop because it's kind of cracked. It was cracked right here. I put a little glue and it sets in the corner and does its job. So let's go over with some strikes. And again, all these strikes are the same whether you're using something short or long. It's just you're going to generate more power or more distance when I strike you. If I hold both these out, obviously I can touch you a lot farther out with this one than I can with this one. But this one will still keep me off. This is what normally cops carry. You don't want it really long in a car because then it gets caught in the door wedge, it gets caught in the seatbelt. So these batons tend to be a little bit shorter. And as a cop carrying a baton, a lot of times I would have my baton out if I thought I was going to need it, only because having it in your hand, it becomes part of you and it just feels normal. You know, I talk about I used to walk around when I was working cases and I was trying to figure things out or studying maps or reading emails or just trying to figure out my next search warrant or whatever. I would carry around a little bat. Well, besides me playing softball and it helped develop my swing, I just had a little bat that I was always kind of like stretching and swinging, and it just gave me something to do because I was standing around doing paperwork. So a lot of times if I'm on a call that it looks like it's a little tense, I would have my baton out, but I'd be carrying it in a very relaxed manner, kind of like I'm ready to use it. I can keep somebody off me. If somebody were to jump me or come in on me, I can give them a quick jab to get them out of my face, or if I want somebody to back up and they don't want to back up, I can rape this baton right across their sternum, and it hurts like crap, and they're like, ugh, and they're backing away. So if hey, you need to back up, and then just give them a little rake. So that's one way that I used to just hold the baton. A lot of times it was just kind of keeping the wrists loose, kind of sitting around. I'd be standing on a scene and just messing around with the baton. Some guys sitting on the curb. A lot of people would be like, hey, it shouldn't be in your gun hand. I can drop this and go to my gun pretty easy. I mean, it's not anything. And again, when I was training cops on the firing line, I would have them have ticket books in their hand and say gun, and they would have to drop it, abandon it, and go for their gun. If they had their baton in hand, gun, you would have to drop the baton and go for your gun. So it's not like I got to hang on to this. And like I said, if somebody really wants to be a jerk, I'll just throw them a baton when they catch it. Then I can shoot them because they got my weapon. They took my baton. I do that. Of course I could do it, but anyway, if somebody grabbed my baton, I said, look, dude, either let go of my baton or I'm going to let you have it. And then I'm going to shoot you because you got my baton. So you need to let go. So anyway, a baton, same strikes with the little baton as the long baton. And I'll try to go over each of them so you can see the difference. The basic strikes with a baton, of course, you have your two-handed or your one-handed strike and then your two-handed strike. Using two hands, obviously, going to give you a little bit more torque. There's a big kind of thing on which foot should be forward, strong foot forward or strong foot back. Half a dozen one the other. Most cops teach strong or weapon side away from suspect. So normally it was strong side back. And that way if I'm striking, I'm not exposing my gun. If I go this way and my gun's here, now I'm exposing my gun if I'm hitting 2 or 3 people so I can reach in and grab my gun while I'm fighting this guy or I got my baton, I'm fighting, now my gun's exposed. Whereas if I keep my gun side back and I do it. If you're just using a baton for personal self-defense, you don't need to worry about that. And then the one-handed strike or the two-handed strike, being universal, being able to do a one-handed strike or a two-handed strike with different hands. And again, the more you do this, the more it becomes natural. And to me, it's, when I'm watching TV, I keep one of these by the TV and I just pick it up and I'll be like, all right, I'm watching TV. I'll go over my strikes, my jabs, my one-handed. So, look, understanding how to use something in your hand is important, and understanding how to get the most power out of it. Obviously, I taught this for a lot of years. A lot of martial arts still teach it. It may not be a baton, they'll call it something else. They'll put a little stick on it instead of PR-24 and call it something else. It's kind of the same thing, same theory. You want to generate power, and most of your power comes right down here at the end. So my impact area, I don't want to hit a guy and have the baton hit him up here. I'm not going to have near the strength as if I hit him at the end of the baton. Same way with here. If I hit you straight on with this baton and do a strike forward, it hurts. It's small. It's putting all my force and weight right to the end of this tip. Same way if I come around low over. If I've got the baton down low and you come in on me and I come up here from way back here and I circle around and I drive it forward, all that pressure is going right here on this front. So, and again, not only can I go this way, if you come up behind me and I'm doing that, I can come back with the other end, hit the back end. So, those are two really powerful strikes. Here, or here, or here, or here. So I can get this side, I can circle this side, or I can circle this side. And understanding that same circle strike principle is what you need to practice so it becomes instinctive. With a long baton, long stick, whatever, cane, whatever you want to call it, same thing. I can jab, I can come here, I can come here, I can come over, I can come under. Over, under, jab, straight on. I think they call this a spear strike, where you get right here and you both hands go straight forward. That'll really keep a guy off you, and it kind of hurts when the tip hits. Same thing with this. You don't really want to do a one-handed strike with a long baton. First of all, you can't get it back good enough to get a good strike, and you're losing a lot of leverage. So longer baton, you're probably doing more of your two-handed strikes. Okay? But two-handed also can be these strikes up close. 1, 2, 1, 2, down, up, 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 down, circle, circle, upward circle, downward circle. Power chop comes down on top, and I bring it and I drive it right down to the collarbone neck area to really get a lot of power to come down and hit that. And those are basically your strikes. There's not a whole bunch more that you teach. It's just becoming proficient with those to where you can do your one. Now, a lot of people teach blocks with sticks. I was never a big block guy. PR24, I don't think I'm a PR24 handy. PR24 you can block because I'm holding it here and I can cover my whole arm and protect my arm. But with a stick, they teach cover your arm like this. And it's okay as long as the guy's hitting and you're ricocheting off and you're actually driving the ricochet. But you try to do this and he hits your hands, man, you've lost your fingers, probably not going to draw your gun. I was never a big blocker with this. I mean, if you get proficient with it, a guy swinging at you, you can. But it's just not as effective as a PR where my hand is here and it's not exposed versus here and it is exposed. So, but your basic blocks, and then the retention on a baton is always important. How do you keep it? Most of the time, it's a twisting to keep your baton or a circle. And you circle in or out. So if somebody grabs my baton and we're in a struggle, what I want to do is circle it. And a lot of times if you get a strong guy and you start circling this way, they will clamp down and stop you from circling right here. You'll be like, damn, he's strong. That's all right, use that against him. So you go this way, he starts pushing down, and you use that energy to whip it around the other way. He can't stop it. And this circle movement will move the hands, and they can't hang on to it. So baton retention is a lot of circling or coming in the butt and driving the butt into their hands. Because when they grab a baton like this, if you drive the butt up, it breaks their wrist. If you're holding this and you're driving this low, I have a very hard time holding on this. You've weakened my grip. So jamming it forward and then trying to come up and hit them with it, or just twisting it up and pushing forward will usually break their grip. So circle, and you can go either way or halfway. If they feel like you're strong, you can go back and forth, then they don't know which way, and then do a complete circle. And sometimes you can do 2 circles. Or you do a circle and you follow up with an upward rollover. So that's some basic baton stuff. Again, a lot of baton practice. People and horses do best. Look at my horse out there eating. Do best what they do most. So if you want to get good at something, become natural with it. It needs to feel comfortable in your hand. You need to be able to talk and do things with it and not worry about it and not be too concerned about it, but you know that if you have to switch to a defensive maneuver, you can. If I have to switch to something, I can, but otherwise it doesn't have to be threatening. I don't have to be standing here like this at every call. All right, who wants it? You don't have to do that. I can be just as ready by doing this as I hand with a nice low ready position. My arms are relaxed, kind of lets my arms hang. A lot of times, I mean, if you saw me out on a call with multiple guys, 9 times out of 10, my baton was in this position. And if I needed it, it was there. If I didn't need it, I could drop it and go to my gun if I needed to go to my gun. I wasn't a big taser guy. Too many options, too many things to think about. Doesn't work. You end up shooting cops. Cops are in the way. It's just, you know, look, I'm going to go one-on-one or hands-on. So, different batons. I really like the way these 3 turned out. I mean, they were kind of trashed and black and all beaten up, dented from the police, and polished them out with a little tung oil. Put 3 or 4 coats of that on it, and they came out really nice. I think so. So anyway, Baton basics, take it for what it's worth. If you don't practice something, then it's not going to be natural when you want to do it. It's not going to be instinctive. It's not going to be muscle memory. It's not going to be done without you thinking about it, because you're like, man, I have this in the academy, but I haven't used it in a while, and I haven't practiced. And I did, and I know guys that they sit in the office, they have a gun on, and they haven't pulled their gun out of their holster in freaking 2-3 years. There's dust and bunnies and everything. I mean, they don't want to go to the range. If they do go to the range, they borrow somebody's gun because they didn't bring theirs. I mean, I've seen some pretty, that's why when people tell me about, well, government should only have guns because they train and they have qualifications and standards, you're a freaking idiot. Some of the worst gun handling, gun possessing people I know were cops. And any firearms instructor that teaches cops will tell you that exact same thing. It ain't just me. Once you're in the business and you see it in a range to where there's nothing but cops around, you see the real problems, especially when you start trying to identify them, and then there's like, yo man, we don't need to come out here and take this BS, we just want to come out here and shoot, and you want to make it work and try to learn all this new stuff. Hell, if I can hit the target, that's all I need to do. I got coffee and donuts to go eat. Well, alright, whatever. Here you are. There's old Mr. T out there eating. Let's see if we can say goodbye to old Mr. T way out there. Y'all see him out there snacking? I threw him a little hay. Alright, well, in that there.